Hey gang, welcome back to the Music Majors Club Unpacked. My name is Jesse, and today we have a double feature unpack. We're getting into 2 tracks in one video. Let's get into it. If you're new here, this is the show where we talk all things music. We unpack songs, our first reactions to them, our thoughts, our feelings, everything. So be sure to subscribe, go ahead, become a music major, get into the dialogue, get into the conversation. Today we have something really special, kind of crazy in mind to do 2 songs in one video, but we're gonna make it happen. The set today is a little bit, it's not very crazy. We've got our classic Beethoven here with us. We've got our typewriter. We got the antique phone. Nothing too crazy on set. I'm wearing a casual tank top. It's supposed to be symbolic of summer. It's hot outside. I live in Florida. It's supposed to be symbolic of, the heat. And in the past, I've worn sweaters, okay? I try to do it all. I try to have variety here on the show. So we're really mixing it up today. Tank top season. Speaking of summer, this has just been the summer of music from women. I said this in a past unpack, but the women of music this summer, this year, are just giving everything to us. We've had banger albums. It feels like it started with, I don't even know who started it. Beyonce, Cowboy Carter released, I think, at the beginning of this year. Then we had Taylor Swift, of course, Tortured Poets Department, Dua Lipa, Radical Optimism. We had Chapel Roan, which is an album from years ago that surfaced into an iconic album, which I have a separate unpack for as well, if you want to go check that out. I also have an unpack for Tortured Poets Department. Just some plugs here. We had Ariana Grande, Eternal Sunshine. We had Brat, Charlie XCX's Brat. It's a Brat summer. I am still bumping that to Brat. I wish I did a live reaction video to Brat. It's too late now. I already know the album too well. I mean, I guess I could do like a live thoughts, which is kind of something I want to do too. I could just still like give my thoughts as I'm listening to the album. Would y'all be into that? Like the live thoughts, even if it's not like a true first listen? I don't know. But Brat summer, holy macaroni. I just want to say real quick because I'm literally still bumping that. If you have not streamed Brat, if you've not listened to 360, if you've not listened to the opposite 365, if you've not listened to Club Classics, and if you've not listened to Talk, I don't know what to tell you because you need to go listen to Brat, okay? It is Brat summer. Also, Girl, it's so confusing. And the remix with Lorde, what is that full remix called? The Girl So Confusing version with Lorde. Banger. Yeah, it's freaking Brat summer. So we just had a lot of music from women artists this year, this summer. Lady Gaga, LG7, allegedly. Some point, please. So we've just had a ton of good music this summer. We're getting blessed with content. And currently there is some ironically timed released music between Katy Perry with Woman's World and her album 143 that's coming, and Kesha. I believe Kesha has an album coming. I don't know, but she has a single. So today, we are going to be listening to 2 songs. We're going to be listening to the new single from Katy Perry, and we're going to be listening to the new single from Kesha. Today, my goal is to listen to the music itself. That's kind of what the Music Majors Club is all about, is the actual music. I will address like what the drama is and what I know between the 2 artists, but I do want to, the purpose of today's video is to listen to the music and talk about the songs themselves. These 2 artists seem to have been, I don't know, not pitted against each other, but it's almost like the timing in their release is very interesting. I don't want to say it's competitive or combative, but it is interesting that both of these artists have songs released at the same time, especially with their work with Dr. Luke. That's where this all stems to, the producer Dr. Luke, Kesha's previous assault and being a victim of Dr. Luke, and Katy Perry releasing music with Dr. Luke. I will say, I believe Katy Perry has a contractual agreement to finish more music with Dr. Luke. So I will say that. I mean, it's not like it's not like working with him is adding any maybe benefit because of all of the past experience that has come out from Dr. Luke and artists, especially Kesha. But I will say, to Katy Perry's defense, maybe it sounds like she has some form of contract that she has to complete music with him. I don't know how true that is. That's what I've seen on the internet. And if you go on the internet, you have to believe everything you read, right? From what I've seen, let me look it up. I don't believe Woman's World was produced by Dr. Luke, but I believe the album was produced by Dr. Luke. Okay, I take that back. Dr. Luke is a Dr. Luke is credited as a writer, if not a producer, for Woman's World. So, yikes. So, if nothing else, I'm gonna try to give some of the facts. So, like, rather than an opinion, I'm just gonna give the facts. I'm looking up Dr. Luke's Wikipedia page, which I know also, okay, ironically, is not all facts. Wikipedia is based on, fan-based content, but just something that's more black and white is what I'm trying to get at, Dr. Luke has really worked with everybody. He's been involved for so long. However, he's clearly made some really, really, really awful decisions based on experience with artists like Kesha. So I don't know. It just seems interesting to me that the fact that Kesha releases music, Katy Perry releases music. They both have this experience and this history with Dr. Luke. And that's kind of, in a way, that's kind of like what causes controversy, like, are some of these things manufactured, right? Like, are some things planned to be, okay, if we release this music at the same time, there's going to be this controversy between the two artists, like, I don't know. Katy Perry releasing music too has always been an interesting time, because I remember there's a lot of dialogue about when Katy Perry released Roar and Lady Gaga released Applause. Like, there's no controversy there, but there was just also like there was just a time when she releases music, it seems like it's a timely event, if that makes sense. Kind of like if you know, you know, So that's Dr. Luke. Speaking about Kesha, like, obviously Kesha's been an iconic, pop, disco, club artist for a long time. I mean, the early 2000s, when she released TikTok, I think that was in 2009 she released TikTok. Okay, Kesha released TikTok in 2010. So Kesha had a huge run of back-to-back number one songs, bangers, club music, and then just a lot of commercial success. And then, of course, things started coming out about Dr. Luke and her assault from him and everything. And that's when things started to take a turn with her music, her relationship with Dr. Luke. Everything started to change for her. And then, honestly, she seemed to have taken a step back from music over time too, after all that happened, which is totally understandable. She released some other albums that didn't quite blow up, I would say, as much as her early music, but she's still in the scene. She's still releasing stuff. She had that TV show at one point too, right? She had like a reality show for a minute. And then on the flip side of that, Katy Perry has been, she, especially in her early, time of releasing music, she was one of the biggest artists at one point. Also, her album Teenage Dream, that album specifically has reached so many milestones. It has some huge record. Let me look it up too. Okay, yeah, Teenage Dream is the second album in history to have 5 number one singles after Michael Jackson's album Bad to top the US Billboard Hot 100, and the first by a woman to achieve this milestone. That is crazy. That is the fact that I always knew about Teenage Dream, is that album reached, it hit so many achievements and milestones and everything. The success of that album, the number one singles from that album was California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T., and Last Friday Night, TGIF. If you think about it, that is quite the run. She had so many, like, those back-to-back singles were just like, Katy Perry was here. She was everywhere. That was her biggest, I think that is her biggest peak ever, is Teenage Dream, that album. And with peak in mind, that's kind of what happens too, is like artists find their peak and then it's like, what do you do from there then, So after Teenage Dream, Katy Perry released Prism. And there were some still big songs on that. That had Roar, that had Unconditionally. But then after that, that's when she reached her Witness era and things definitely started to take a turn. She still had really big songs on that album. That album had Swish Swish and Bon Appetit. But that's also when she started to do her like TV thing. Like, she went on American Idol. She was on American Idol for quite some time too. Then she went into her Smile album, and then she had her residency. She's been one of the biggest commercially successful artists for a long time. And like I said, she's had some really, really huge records that she hit and milestones that she achieved. So Katy Perry is certainly no stranger to success, but now there's this current thing between Katy Perry and Kesha, and I totally understand it, between their experience and their history and their work with Dr. Luke. That's kind of like the background that I know and the background that I think is like the surface level of what's going on with these two artists and with their music. Now, what's so interesting to me is the fact that, again, they're both released around the same time. They're both causing this controversy of supporting one over the other. And that's why today I'm going to listen to the music, give my true thoughts on the songs themselves, try to separate the artists from their past and their history and the stuff behind the scenes, and just simply talk about the songs. In my opinion, too, it almost feels like Kesha is almost the underdog here. Like, I put Katy Perry in a much more pivotally successful, commercially successful artist. I mean, she played the Super Bowl. When you play the Super Bowl, that's like, in a way, a peak of its own, like a milestone of its own. And Kesha, again, she's had so much commercial success in her own, not to take away from Kesha at all, but I just feel like Katy Perry has had more success and is more of that artist that like is given the opportunities versus Kesha, who's been just not as fortunate. And I mean, based on what happened to her, has had more of a hard time bouncing back and kind of a more uphill battle. And so that's why I think, if nothing else, I feel like Kesha is the underdog, and I feel like supporting her is really, really something that's important, especially if this is also her comeback too. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to kick off our listen with Kesha's new single, Joyride. This is clocking in at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, short track. Oh, and it looks like today, July 19th, she uploaded a couple other versions of Joyride. She uploaded an instrumental version, an a cappella version. Okay, I see you, Kesha. Oh, yeah, and this was released on July 4th, the original song. Like, Joyride was released on July 4th, Independence Day of the US. This was like, I'm an independent artist. That is crazy. Whoa, that is some serious marketing. July 4th, 2024, Kesha released Joyride as a freedom of herself, as a freedom of as an artist. Wow, that's pretty iconic. I have heard Joyride by Kesha, but I have not really. I've only listened to it like once or twice, which was actually my goal. I only listened to Joyride and I've only listened to Woman's World. Like I listened to it more when it released, but I haven't really listened to it much since, which was kind of my goal when I was thinking about filming this video. I was like, okay, let me not listen to either song for a minute and let me give my full, like, fresh reaction to them and thoughts. I am going to just watch the lyrics as they go by. All right, here we go. This is Joyride by Kesha. Okay, this, was that what is that thing called? I do not love that opener. She sounds like old school Kesha. I love that. Okay, that accordion, that's what it is, accordion. That sounds better in the verse. Okay. All right, I'm really liking the vibe. I forgot that this is a little bit more upbeat than I was thinking it was gonna be. Okay, let's pause. So, first thoughts. I do not love that opener of like this accordion sound. It sounds almost like we're going to like the German pavilion at Epcot, if that makes any sense to anybody. I don't know. It feels, I don't know how that, I don't know, but hey, maybe that's part of the whole shtick. It's kind of like an unexpected opener. So that's an interesting way to start the song. I do think the accordion sounds better throughout the track though, but the beginning is kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't quite sit right with me, to be honest. But hey, maybe that's the entire purpose. I actually love that it's kind of like an upbeat, but not too upbeat. Like, it's not a club banger, but it is an upbeat tempo. Very Kesha. I feel like this sounds a lot more like her older stuff. I listened to some of her music, some of her more previous music, but it was a little bit, more like laid back, some guitar, slower BPMs. This feels more like our old school Kesha that we know and love. So in a way, she's back. I love the chorus of the little beeps. That's fun. I love that she added that. It feels like very playful and fun, which is pretty cool. I remember a lot of the promo for this too. She was in a car at like a gas station, right? And they were pissed that she was there or whatever. That was kind of fun. Very visual representation of the song, the theme of the song, the joyride. Okay, let's keep it moving. Here we go. Okay. I love that repetitive. I forgot to say that. That operatic, like, choir. It feels like Kim Petras and Sam Smith. Yeah, this really feels like old school Kesha. The repetitive nature. Wow, okay. Wait, this is it. Breakdown ending. We're in, Kesha. We're in the Joyride. Take us away. Okay. Wow. All right. Man, artists these days are making such short songs. What is up with that? There was no bridge. At least we got 2 verses, but there was no bridge, just a final chorus. It's the age of the TikTok, right? I don't remember that being as fun as it actually was. That was a really fun track. I love the repetitive nature of some of those words that she says, like hearing it over and over. That feels very nostalgic to the old school Kesha, like, and adding that filter, kind of like almost like a robotic sound to her. I think that was really intentionally done and really executes and stems back to how she used to sound and used to be. So love that a lot. The choir is very interesting to me. It gives me an instant nod to Kim Petras and Sam Smith. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but the way that they have that choir in Unholy, like I wonder if that's supposed to be a similar correlation at all. I don't know if they're all friends. I don't know if they're not. I know, ironically, I know that Kim Petras has worked with Dr. Luke, so I almost feel like that's not a correlation to each other. Like I don't think Kesha wants anything to represent her with Dr. Luke at all. But that is just an interesting note that the Joyride also has this choir, and that's like the first thing that I thought of with a recent choir is Unholy. But anyways, I also noticed that Kesha's name doesn't have the $sign anymore, right? It's just Kesha. When did she change that? Am I new to that? Did she change that after like everything with Dr. Luke, or is that new for this era? I don't know. Yeah, super short track. That's kind of what people are doing these days, though, it seems. It's like and that was written by Kesha, Madison Love, and Zoni. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I think that's a really good opener to whatever she has coming next. If this is her next era, if she has an album coming after this, I think that was a really good representation to show that she has her old school Kesha. She has some upbeat stuff coming. She has a fun vibe, and she kind of has like that edge to her that we know and love. Actually, probably one of my favorite lyrics is "Fell from heaven, no, it didn't hurt." I know that's kind of a classic thing that people say, but I love that she put that in there for herself. It feels like a nod maybe to anything that she's experienced and gone through. So I think that's a really fun. Lyric. Okay, so moving on, it's time to listen to "A Woman's World" by Katy Perry. This is her lead single as well from the album. Okay, and this was released a couple days later. This was released on July 11th. And I remember this being released. This was actually released by a music video. So on YouTube, she posted, there was a countdown and everything. She released "Woman's World" via the music video. Right now, I'm just going to listen to the song itself. I'm not going to watch the video. All right, so let's listen to "Woman's World" by Katy Perry. Here we go. All right, I gotta stop. Instantly, I totally forgot. I can't believe that this is the verse. I've just got to say it. I thought when she released like the snippet and the teaser for this song, and it included this opener, I thought that it was like an AI version of what the song was going to be. And she said too, there were AI leaks of the song. So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe that was just AI and that was just to like throw us off, It's not the most exciting verse pattern, It's very monotone, which is fine in pop music. Pop music has a lot of monotone stuff, but I kind of hoped that was just AI and that it was going to be something different when it actually released. But here we are. Okay, that part I love. I love the celebrate. That's really good. So yeah, the chorus is so much better than the verse. The chorus really opens up. I love the part celebrate. That celebrate, like the extension of that note, the harmonies on it. I think that is really, really, really incredible. And that she didn't leak any of that, I don't think. Or maybe it came out towards the end, like right before she actually released the song, that part. And I think I remember actually, yeah, that did release it right before she released the song. And I remember thinking, oh, that's good. Like I do love that. That hits. The lyrics are fine. The song, the meaning is fine. Of course, it's obviously really, really involved with feminism and 2024. I have seen some things that I do think speak well to the tone of this song. Like, who necessarily is asking for this commentary in 2024. But hey, it feels a little bit dated in a way. If this was released a couple years ago, maybe, but it does feel, I don't know. It's fine. She talks about being really proud to be a mother. She feels really proud to understand what it's like to have a daughter, and she was inspired by that. But I do think the tone of it is a little bit dated, maybe, but who knows? Ooh, I like that harmony there. It has all the right elements of a pop song. I do like this little echo here. That's super Katy. Like, that is a thick harmony. Very typical Katy. Ooh, okay, extra harmony up there for that last one. The spoken dialogue feels a little bit Target commercial, Oh, one more. I did like that echo. Okay. Wow, okay. So another super fast song. This was almost over before it even started in a way. No bridge, just like Kesha's. This is 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Why do they have to be so short? In a world of opportunity and options, and a world of doing anything creatively with music, it's like, can you give us a little bit more? Can you give us just give us like one more chorus, Like, this one didn't even have a final chorus. It just kind of dipped off. But I get it. Again, like I said before, that's the world of the TikTok. That's the world of the swipe, the scroll, the next song. In a way, that's the world of the plays, the listens, the streams, No one's subject to like that as their own personal issue. That's just kind of the world that we're in right now with 2024. It sounds like she's gonna have a lot of other really fun songs from the album too. So some of the snippets that I've heard of her teasing songs, like she did this Instagram or TikTok live where she was playing music and some of the upcoming songs, and a lot of them do sound super fun. So I think the album itself is going to be really good. This sounds kind of just like your typical radio classic, like a single that an artist like her would release, and it's super pop Katy Perry heavy. The way that she articulates a lot of the words, the way that she uses a lot of the harmonies, the way that like the second verse the second chorus has a lot of extra harmonies and ad libs versus the first verse. It's very typical pop, and you know what? I think that's great. Like, I think that's exactly what an artist should be doing. If they are a pop artist, they're delivering. Man, I don't know how to get past the verse itself. Like the basic, the AI, the way that sounds is just, I don't love that. I think the chorus overcompensates for it. Like, I think the chorus at least is a good, strong chorus, but the verse is just not my thing. But that's okay. Hey, you know what? It's a woman's world. We're lucky to be living in it. Katy told us. And you know what? If nothing else, this is Katy Perry's comeback. She's been off the scene of music for a while. She's been doing the American Idol. She's been doing TV. She's been doing all kinds of other stuff. So this is her comeback. And I know that she is definitely a supported and pushed artist in the industry. So I have no doubt that she will have a successful album because she's been gone for so long. And I think a lot of the other songs, I hope a lot of the other songs from the album are maybe a little bit more different. Like this, like I said at the beginning, this song almost feels like a song that could have been released maybe like 10 years ago. Like, maybe this could have been on, one of her earlier albums, and it would have been really good. Now I feel like it's kind of like just fine, especially after not having music for so long. Like, I can see myself singing it. I can hear it playing on the radio. And I think it's just fine. I think comparing the two songs, so Joyride versus Woman's World, not that they have to be pitted against each other, but if we were to compare the two, I would describe Woman's World as more of a radio song and Joyride as more of like a club song. I can hear lots of remixes of Joyride, and it almost already has like that gritty feel of like a club track. I'd be more excited to hear that in the club, maybe. I suppose Woman's World could be more of like an upbeat, like extra fast BPM song if it was remixed for a club scene, but I think I think Joyride is kind of already in that space, and I can kind of see people more like partying to that more. I'm not gonna pick a favorite. I think both have good things, bad things, things that could just be, things that will like see if they stand the test of time in a way. When you look back at both of their discographies, they both have so many good, and still commercially successful songs, and not the commercial success. I know I keep talking about commercial success, but I think that's just when you're talking about artists like this, you're talking about the level, the magnitude, the drive, the influence that they have, and just like the stage that they're on. Commercial success is what's behind that and what's backing that, and that's what's kind of driving a lot of music that we hear on the radio and that we see in front of us, that we see on social media. So that's why I think commercial success is something I keep referring back to, because at the end of the day, they're selling a song, they're selling music, right? This is not just for fun in a way. People don't typically have huge commercial success and then walk away quickly. They want to continue to release music for profit. It's a for-profit industry, right? So I'm excited to hear more from them. I'm excited if these are the first singles from both artists. I'm excited to hear more and see what their albums really sound like. That's going to do it for me here at the Music Majors Club. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much for your engagement. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what you think about both songs. What did I miss? What did I not catch? What did I not unpack? Be sure to subscribe because you too can become a music major. I'll see you next time. Bye.